Welcome. Welcome to a discussion, Conversations with the Expert on Artificial Intelligence. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Isidore Sobkowski, who's going to talk on the subject today. Izzy is received awards from the American Association of Artificial Intelligence. He got an award from Microsoft for invention of the best artificial intelligence project. He's been working on artificial intelligence systems for, I think, the last 40 years. It is a real honor for me to speak with Izzy. So, Izzy, for the first question, Chat GPT, is that a revolutionary change in the technology of artificial intelligence?
So first, Dan, thank you so much for those kind words, and I hope to be able to live up to some of them. Regarding ChatGPT or large language models, is it revolutionary? I think the application of the technology is revolutionary. The fact that people have adopted it as quickly as they have, that's a cultural revolution, that's cultural change. But the underlying technology is a very effective use of technology that's been around for 60 years or so, maybe a little bit more, and that's neural networks. So deep learning neural networks have been around for a long time. We've now learned how to use that technology very effectively and with a very quick adoption.
I've read about warnings of ChatGPT and these generative language models threatening extinction of the human species. Is that really something we should be worried about?
I think if you want to worry about things, there's a lot more to worry about than the human race being extinct because of large language models.
Well, it's nice to know that the human race can still handle some things by themselves. On using these models, are there risks we should be aware of in our approach to how we utilize the power of these models?
I think that's a great question. I think the answer is yes. The best way to look at these models is as a smart assistant. I do a lot of writing, but still the hardest thing to start with is a blank page. So if you look at a large language model as a way to get your research going, to get past the blank page so you can edit and add, more than start with something fresh, and look at these large language models as an adjunct or as an assistant, that's a great way to look at it. If you rely on the results of ChatGPT or other large language models, and you rely on them without a critical eye, you're going to get into trouble.
It sounds like if you're going to use these for really important decisions and to help on making decisions about what you're going to do, you kind of need to think of ways to use them in an ethical fashion, and perhaps put some guardrails around what you're doing.
Well, I don't know if you put those words in, to make me happy, but I hold a patent in ethical AI, and I'm very much about responsible AI and AI on guardrails. So you really do need a governance policy. I think corporations need a governance policy, and individuals should also police themselves, which is not to simply rely on the results of a large language model. At the end of the day, this generative AI, which is what the G in ChatGPT is all about, is generative. They search and they form things that look like they know what they're talking about, but there's no sentience, there's no competence, there's no intelligence behind it. What it is putting words together. So you just need to be careful and act accordingly. Look at it as an assistant, govern yourself as a corporation, govern yourself as an individual, and as an assistant, these large language models can be very, very effective.
Thank you very much. To recap, then, it seems like what we've said is the The technology is actually revolutionary. It's quite powerful. It's not threatening the extinction of the species, but we need to be careful about the way we use it, to be aware of biases that it might have, and to put an appropriate governance framework around it, to use it as a tool and not as a unassailable source of information.
As with any technology, as with a truck or airplane or other computer software or a printing press, the technology in and of itself is not threatening. It's the human capacity to use the technology effectively. So clearly governance is important. And because it's such a sophisticated technology, and because it speaks with authority, the results that you get from a large language model usually are presented with authority. It's hard for people to overcome those responses, but it's important to do so. It's important to look at it as an adjunct, not as an authority.
Thank you very much. I've really appreciated the information and enjoyed the conversation. So thank you, Izzy.
Dan, thank you for the opportunities. Thanks so much.
Cheers.